Indeed, it's most relaxing.
How about a cup on me? Yeah, like other times. Still surprised the sister of the church is always drinking.
Not really considered one with the church, but...
I could see that.
Hi, Mr. Kaya. Hi, Miss Rosaria.
Oh, hi, Clee. What brings you here? Aren't you a little bit too young for this?
I'm hiding out from Miss Jean.
Of course.
Mr. Order and I said I could hide in the teapot.
How about I order you some grape juice then?
Orange juice, please.
Alright. Hey, D-Lu. Please order us the finest refreshments, please. Orange juice for Clee, though.
Get it yourself.
Alright. Hey, you're the one who runs this place.
I think he's just being grumpy again.
More than likely. It's worth it.
You really don't like him, do you, Mr. Kaya?
It's a complicated relationship.
Just like many things in this world are beyond complicated and complex.
Cheers. And hello, everybody.
Hello, how you doing?
Welcome to.
Hi.
That's not for that cringy skit we did because we just thought of it on the spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome to our own podcast of Genshin Impact thoughts on 3.0 and through 3.2 as of is.
Yeah, basically our thoughts on Sumeru for now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do
Instead of
this
just kind of like a
for the
halfway
rest.
kind of update, since we're only in 3.2 with the rest of 3 still to come.
Yeah, and we're going to do another. We're planning to do more podcasts when the next update comes around, and then another one halfway through that.
Yep. So we're gonna be doing. So the next time you'll see us will be around like 3.4,
3.3.
3.3.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
if we're able to.
Yeah, after they do a special program on it.
Yeah, and about halfway after that update.
Yeah.
That's when we'll be doing these usually.
Yeah, so like it's every like 2 weeks basically. Well, every 20 days, I guess, or so, somewhere around that range.
Yeah, I don't know.
And with this, it'll be a variety of topics that we talk about. And at some point, if we really want to, we can go back to like what we thought about the previous
updates
things
and stuff. If we feel up to it.
If we cover all the basics of like what we feel like on Sumeru as a whole.
Yeah. And speaking of the first topic we're going to be discussing is, of course, Sumeru as a whole.
Yeah, like what do we think of the nation? What do we think of the Dendro element itself being introduced into the game as the 7th element, I believe?
Yep.
Yep, the 7th and final element.
Yeah, and we're going to be discussing characters, and we're going to be discussing the current events.
And the story.
Yeah. Might not too much on the story since Queen over here hasn't...
She just started the Sumeru Archon quests.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten far, but I do hope to get farther at some point.
We're going to try to keep this spoiler free for anyone else in the same boat.
Who either doesn't have the game, wants to get the game, or hasn't gotten to Sumeru yet, like some of our friends.
Although I do want to say one thing. Klee needs to use some of her bombs on the Grand Sage.
That'll be all explained when you play the game.
Yep. Alright,
so Sumeru first. What do you think about Sumeru as a whole nation? And do you think it fits into the story of what we're doing?
I'd say let's start with Kevin first, since he's been playing this game a lot longer. And we'll go to you, Remnant, and then to me.
I am the Genshin god of this group, yes.
Hello, Samurai. Welcome to the stream.
Samurai.
Alright. So, yeah, Kevin, how about you give your thoughts first?
Alright. Honestly... Okay, are we talking, like, add to the story, or... Hold on, I need to get up from the spot. I'm getting that weird camera glitch.
Basically, talk about how you feel how Sumeru and Dendro fit into the game.
Like, does it add to it, or does it say the same?
Is it a good idea?
Oh,
or was it
definitely
a good idea?
adds to it.
Alright.
I honestly don't see any... Well, of course there's a few flaws with it, but it's mostly a bonus to the story.
Alright.
And Dendro itself is so fun.
You speak of flaws. May you elaborate on that?
Yes, yeah, please.
Well, of course, with the added gameplay element, there's definitely gonna be a few... I can't English. There's definitely gonna be a few bugs with it at first, but they've mostly patched those out already. Thankfully, because they were able to catch them pretty fast.
Now again, you speak of bugs. Have you experienced any of these bugs, or do you know people that have experienced these bugs, or what were they?
I know that occasionally when I teleport to one of the statues of 7 Sumeru, I end up inside of the rock.
Oh yeah, I experienced that. I experienced some of that too.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that lately, so they probably patched it out by now.
I thought it was quite funny to go inside the rock.
Wait, what rock?
You know the first statue of the 7 when you go to Sumeru? Through that little cave?
Oh.
It's kind of like when I get stuck in those domains when you activate them, Queen.
It's not my fault that sometimes you try to do while you're climbing on the domain because you're trying to hide.
I literally tried to get into it.
One time you actually did.
Yeah. As soon as you activated it, I tried climbing it.
You actually got inside.
No,
or another time where Remnant put a Zhongli pillar in there, and the doors actually closed the entire pillar inside.
Yep. Okay. So yeah,
we caused a lot of funny moments here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, you keep going. I got called to do something real quick.
Hey. I know the 2 towers line, but still. Dendro itself as an element is so fun to play.
Okay.
Like the burning, especially the Dendro cores, which I honestly think is a really interesting element to add to the game. Because you use Dendro and water to make a plant that deals damage to both you and the enemies, which is interesting. And if the enemy hits them with, electro, pyro, or something like that, it'll damage you more than them. So if you see a Dendro core, you want to activate it first before the enemy can.
And then if I remember quickly, if you activate it with pyro, electro, and whatnot, it does more damage to them.
Yes, but if you use it with pyro, you don't want to be standing on it, because they'll still hurt you.
I mean, it's obviously going to be a little bit different if, like, you have to, but say you have, like, a healer with you, then it's different.
Yeah. One of my favorite.
Because then you could just patch up any damage that got done to you.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the Dendro element, Queen?
Like you said, it's a very interesting concept because most elements that when you think of, you don't really think of something like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, the normal elements that you normally think about are fire, water, earth, and quote-unquote air.
Yeah.
Which in this world would be Animo, Geo, Pyro, and Hydro. But then they elaborated and they added Cryo, Dendro, and Electro.
Yeah.
So it's very different that they took, the core elements that you normally think about and added other elements that aren't usually, thought about, like I said, dendro, cryo, electro.
Yeah, like literally like nature power.
Yeah, it's quite
It's
literally
not something
you wield the power of nature in your hands.
Most people qualify those as like Earth attacks, though, in games and stuff like that.
Right, because
So
like
it's interesting
electro,
to
that could
see.
be considered air. Dendro, that could technically be considered earth.
Yeah.
Cryo, that could be identified as water.
Yeah, a lot of people do identify it as water attacks.
But like back to like Dendro itself, it's very interesting how it's kind of like a this or that. If you benefit to it first, then the enemies get more damage done to them. But if they get to it first, and then the damage gets done to you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it can be a win-win, but it can also be a win-lose.
Exactly.
And if you combine Dendro with Hydro and Pyro, it can be so unbelievably strong. Like earlier today, I had to do a fight, and because it was one of my commissions, and my traveler was Dendro at the time, and I happened to have my normal team, which is my traveler, Yanfei, Noelle, and Barbara. So what I did was I would hit my Dendro R2 from my traveler, and then I would use Barbara's water to make it last longer, but then I would make them explode using Yanfei's pyro.
Which is a good thing. Also, I'm back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yep.
So yeah, still talking about.
It took care of the enemies fairly quickly, so I was very amazed as to how well those three elements alone can benefit from one another.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're still talking about Sumeru and Dendro.
We're talking about the Dendro like element gameplay.
Dendro element in general. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
as far as like I'll let you finish what you were gonna say in a minute, Kevin. But as far as like Sumeru itself, it's a very nice nation.
Yeah.
It's a very like interesting nation with like all the animals that you would think of when you think of like a jungle. If we're talking about the jungle portion of it, you've got like the equivalents to what we would think of like tigers. They have equivalents to that. They have equivalents to crocodiles / alligators, whatever you want to call them. They have birds. As everywhere else in the game, there are birds.
Yeah, but these are more like tropical in a way. Right,
like the toucans is what we would call them here, because that's what they look like.
Yeah.
Lizards and fish, things that you would see in actual jungles here in real life.
Yeah.
They have equivalents to it. And if we talk about the Dendro with like the Sumerian desert,
I'd say it's a good contrast.
It is. It very much is. Because like in the desert, you have scorpions. You've got
dung beetles,
vultures, dung beetles,
yeah. And they have cactuses as any other desert would have.
Tumbleweeds, I've seen a few.
And oases.
Yep, oases. Yep.
But
they really do bring in things that would be similar to an actual like habitat like that in real life.
Yeah, and along with the underground areas, like underneath the sand. That's interesting too, with the ancient civilizations.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exact. I think it's my turn to explain why I
now
think
it's
of
your
it.
turn to talk about Sumeru and the Dendro element.
Well, but I honestly think Sumeru does fit very well into it. It's nice that we get like a lush green place compared to. I'm not saying like the other three weren't as lush green, but it just feels like Sumeru is more nature than anything.
Yeah, because the other areas had a lot of open air and stuff.
Yeah, and not to mention that Sumeru started as a jungle and is now leading into a desert.
And the fact that Sumeru City itself is basically a giant tree also really is a nice detail.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
As for the Dendro element itself, I wasn't really expecting much from it from the beginning. But when I saw, I was just like, jeez, this thing is overpowered. Like I wasn't really expecting much. Hello, Mob. You care to join us on this podcast? You care to join us, or are you good?
You gotta go ahead.
Alright.
I'll mute myself.
Alright. Like I said, like the Dendro element, yeah, like I said, I wasn't expecting much, but it really subverted my expectations.
Yeah.
I think it surpassed a lot of our expectations. I know it's especially surpassed my expectations for sure.
I just thought like, oh, another element to add to combos and stuff.
And how many combos there are.
Yep. I was gonna say, the combos are infinite.
Now that the Dendro element has been revealed, I can't wait for more characters from previous nations to have that Dendro element.
Like Yao Yao and Baiju.
Yeah, those two specifically, because I don't have any experience with Yao Yao, but Baiju, I've been waiting to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about Yao Yao, because people played the beta. And I also heard that Noelle had an alternate outfit. I'm not sure if that was like a beta outfit, or if we're going to get another style for her at some point.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I honestly think Sumeru and Dendro fit perfectly into the world of the Vat.
And you gotta think about it, there's also some characters that are in the game that, came from Sumeru. Like Lisa, for instance.
Yeah, because Sumeru's been mentioned from, like, the very beginning.
Yeah, like, take Lisa, for instance. She studied at the Academia.
Yeah.
And she was apparently the most gifted scholar in several hundred years.
Yep.
From what I heard.
Yep. So that's the thing. Okay, and speaking of characters, how about we move on to those? If everyone's all good.
Sure.
Good.
I want to say one more thing about Dendro.
Yeah?
I like the fact that you can combo with two elements at once.
Oh yeah, true. Because I've seen Dendro stack with other elements.
Yeah. Dendro with Hydro, and then you have your choice of any of the other elements pretty much to use with it.
Okay.
It's really interesting to say the least. Like, usually, because all the other elements can only interact with one at a time. But with Dendro, it has so many possibilities for elemental reactions.
That is true.
Yeah, we can move on to characters now if you guys want, though.
Is everyone satisfied with?
Yep.
Okay, and let's get into
Character.
I would say let's start with the characters that were first, like the first characters that were in, and then we'll go down the line.
All right, so
let's
the
start
first
with
Tainari and Kole.
Yep.
Yeah. Tainari and Kole, respectively, the two first Dendro characters that were playable. Besides Traveler, but I don't really count Traveler.
Yeah. The first two obtainable characters to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tainari and Kole, both bow users, both Dendro users.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I first met them, I thought it was a nice refreshment to finally get some Dendro characters.
Well, oh, I tell you, my first impression of Tainari, ears.
Yeah, is he like a jackal or
yes,
something?
that is a very noticeable feature
Yeah,
on him.
He's apparently part of some ancient race, from what I hear.
Huh.
Yeah, because
I could see it.
I guess.
Now, for those who may know, the only thing that we will say that is from the story is that Kale looks up to Tainari.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that
She calls him master.
he's kind of like a teacher to her.
Mm-hmm, because she wants to be a forest ranger.
Go, Forest Rangers.
Oh my god.
I've got some jokes in this podcast, don't we?
Oh, you got Power Rangers on the brain, don't you?
Hey man, God rest his soul, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, back to Kole and Tainari. I found it interesting that they had Kole and Amber related in some way.
Yeah.
Or how Kale looks up, or like thinks
Very highly of Amber.
yeah,
Like her,
very highly of her.
especially with their moves, because Kole's triangle can represent a Baron Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And her passive talent is the same as Amber's. The gliding.
Also, I want to say one thing about Kole that I found on a piece of fan art. Look at her earring, and look at the way she has her vision, like on the right side of her body, or left side. The earring resembles Kaya's, and her vision, like the little bandana and stuff, looks like Amber's.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right.
I see it.
Because Amber's also has her vision on her side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Except
and with
she's
the
got
little
belly
ribbon
glow.
thing.
Yep.
And then the earring looks similar to Kaya's.
Oh wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so she took inspiration from both of them when she designed her outfit.
Kole was rescued with.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is definitely the same.
That is crazy.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
found that piece of fan art I found the other day.
alright, so
Very interesting similarities.
and about their personality, Tainari came off to me as like, okay.
He could be a bit rigid when you
Yeah.
first meet him, but that's just because he cares.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that at first, to be honest.
Me neither, honestly. Just looking at him, I wouldn't think of him as kind of like, I know what I want, and
Yeah.
that's that.
Yeah, I just have one question. What the heck is this thing on his back?
That
With the
I
3
have-
circles on
I
it.
have no clue.
Well, we definitely know it's keeping his thing on.
Yeah.
And with Kole here, her personality, I absolutely love it. She tries her best. Okay, we're going to say something about part of the story. She has been afflicted with a disease called Elazar.
And
Yeah.
at the current moment, it is uncurable.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those who have started Sumer Archon Quest.
And for those who haven't, well, now you know what to expect when you're told that by Tainari.
Yep. It's pretty early on, too, so.
Yeah.
And I do want to say other thing about Kole. She makes one of the best healing items in the game.
The pita pocket.
Yep. Which, if you think about it, could technically be their equivalent to what we call here in the real world a hot pocket.
Pita pockets.
I was deliberately trying to avoid doing that.
Okay, now that we've talked about those two.
Okay, the next update I believe included the character that I have. And only
Queen, would you like to switch to the other polearm user if you have her?
I don't have. I may not have the one that came out with him, but I do have one that came out after him.
Dory or Candace?
Oh yeah, Dory as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you switched
Candace.
Candace.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, with the introduction of Sino and Candace, I guess Dory as well.
Yeah.
Because they all kind of came out similarly.
Yeah, she came out the banner after them, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe so, yep. I tried to get her, but couldn't been able to, and then next one I got this guy.
Yeah.
And, well, we all tried to get the other one, but didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now, you'll learn more about Sino, Candace when you get to the 3.1 update of Sumeru.
Yep.
Although I do want to point one thing out about Candace. She's the first heterochromatic character in Genshin.
Mm-hmm.
With one of her eyes being blue and the other like an amber.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
It says in her description, so it's not really...
She is a descendant of...
a certain person, which...
The Scarlet King.
Yep, which people will learn about later on in Genshin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and she is the defender of the...
Aru Village.
Mm-hmm.
Sino is a little bit more of an odd case than Candace, I guess you could say.
Yeah. He works for the academia as, like, their general.
General Mahamacha, basically passing out judgment across people. Which honestly fits with his design as Anubis.
Yep, the Egyptian god of judging the undead.
Yep. And you learn that in basic history.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sino, but also best friends with Tainari and stuff.
And a little side note to how the Sumerian desert came into play. It essentially is like what we would call in the real world Egypt. It pretty much is.
Yeah, it basically is.
Yeah.
You know, with the pyramids and small little villages that, you know, don't really take much.
And oases.
Yep.
And for Dory, I obviously like her character.
Yeah. Just her design and her character as well. She's so smug.
With a hint of comedy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just love the smugness she possesses.
Fun fact, she actually owns a palace.
Looking at her, it's not too surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's been hit with the, like, you know how they're short real life people, short adults in real life, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't actually know her. Well, we know she's definitely not a kid, but we don't know exactly how old she is.
I don't think any kid will take place in, like, the black market. That's basically what she does.
You underestimate kids.
The way she deals with her clients.
And as you can see here...
It's Ginny!
Yep. So yeah. Dory, I absolutely love her character.
Yeah.
Design and everything.
I do too.
Also, fun fact, Dory knows Klee's mother.
Oh.
She was trained by her in a way.
Oh god.
So yeah, that also kind of proves that she's not really a kid.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, Also, back to Sino. I love his character and his design. Also, the reason I really wanted to get him was because of his voice actor.
Kagi Films, aka Alejandro Saab.
Yep.
Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, it's not a man crush he has.
I just really like his content.
I just heard the pun you made.
Yeah, and screw you.
Kagi himself made that pun during the special program.
That
so
is
don't
the
blame
worst one I've ever heard.
Don't get mad at me, get mad at Kagi.
Yeah,
I am mad at you.
Exactly
You're the
so.
one that said it.
Speaking of, yeah, Sino also makes jokes.
Yeah.
So bad
And he
that
explains them.
yeah, so bad that he has to explain them.
When people don't laugh, he explains the jokes, which makes them worse. Although, a certain Sumeru character loves his jokes.
We will get to her in a little bit. But honestly, out of these three, I'm between Dory and Sino. Candace is an alright character for me. I wanted to get to know her more of her background and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Want to repeat that?
You better not cross paths with me.
Bring all 4 feet of you, or should I count your stupid hat?
Don't you ever talk about my height. Alright, so shall we move on to the
Not
last...
my friends, what do you call it? Napoleon complex.
Shall we... I wonder if he actually does.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Now, should we get to the last batch of characters?
Well, second to last.
Because, well...
Well, none of us have Nilo.
There's another Sumeru character that...
Oh yeah, we
none
forgot.
Of us have.
Yeah, Nilo.
None of us have her, unfortunately.
I wanted to get her.
Believe me, we all tried.
Yeah, too bad. We either couldn't...
The luck was just not with us.
Either we couldn't get enough wishes to get up to her, or just couldn't...
Or this character.
Yeah, and speaking of... Oh yeah, I guess I should change too. And I don't have this... I do not have this... that character.
Imagine if all 3 of us just became her.
But I do have one that came after her.
Yep. Lucky.
This sleepy girl.
So jealous.
Layla and Nahida, the newest characters so far in Genshin.
Well, Layla being the newest, and he is
Yeah.
the second newest.
Who we actually got to meet during the new fungi event.
Yep,
Which I believe is over by now.
I believe so.
No, it's still
it's
still in the
going.
event tab.
Okay.
People have got 5 days
5 days, so if you haven't played it, go play it now.
if
Yep.
you're able to.
So have you been able to do it, Queen?
I have not done it yet.
You know,
You honestly should. It's pretty fun.
you could have force started. It doesn't really spoil much about the Sumeru story.
Yeah, it honestly doesn't.
Yeah,
You
because
just
I
meet
haven't
certain
haven't
Miko.
done.
Yeah, it's like, there's only like one small tidbit at the beginning, and that's just basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done the prerequisite quest that I have to do. But
I say just go ahead and do it, because you only got less than a week left to do it.
yeah, I might just do that.
And then you'll get Dory will actually do a certain amount of the things.
Yeah, you get a Dory constellation.
Yeah.
Fun fact, you don't even have to do the storyline until you want to get Dory. Because you can just do the event domain to earn everything, the rewards, and then do the story.
Yeah, I'll analyze it later.
Yeah.
Alright.
And speaking of, yeah, Nahida, I guess, should we say it?
It's gonna be pretty friggin' obvious, dude.
Yeah, Nahida is the current Dendro Archon.
Yep.
Should we mention who was before her?
Let's not. Let's
I-
leave that for now.
Yeah.
Also, in case you want proof that she's an Archon,
Make yourselves at home.
Yep.
yeah.
This giant thing, which I believe is the biggest ultimate of any character.
Yep, I have checked.
And I believe it's also a symbol of her backstory.
Yeah. Which will be revealed during the Archon quest.
If you're not
Yep.
sure what to do next,
I believe it is called the Shrine of Maya.
Yep.
Yeah. Nahida is the Dendro Archon of Sumeru.
And-
you will meet sometime during the Archon quest.
And people adore her.
And this is why.
Look at the little paper mache things. Oh, gotta put this back.
Also,
Oh yeah, her attacks.
wink. She's so adorable.
And, well, there's a reason why I switched to this one.
And this is the reason. Oh, it's done. Yeah,
Yep.
I believe Layla has a condition where
Here's
she.
the other reason.
I think she has like.
That's another reason why people like Nahida, because of her idol animations.
Yeah, Layla has some sort of condition, I believe. I don't know what it's exactly called. But I know it's like a real life disorder, I believe.
What, falling asleep randomly?
Or not getting enough sleep. I think it's explained.
Falling asleep randomly, that would be narcolepsy.
Yeah.
Insomnia is when you can't sleep. Like, you
No, she
can't fall asleep.
She obviously can sleep, but
And I forget what the other one is, if you can sleep, but you can't stay asleep. I know it's a sleep disorder, but I forget what it's called.
yeah. I honestly believe Layla has some sort of sleep disorder. I'm not exactly sure what though.
I would say narcolepsy, given that she falls asleep randomly.
And if she
At
does
different
too much exercise, she can pass out.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say she's got narcolepsy.
Yeah, she also can sleepwalk, which
Which for her, which apparently I found out is a good thing for her.
yep,
Yeah.
because she get amount of the papers. If she falls asleep, all of them are done.
By the time she wakes up.
So my dinner is here.
All right.
My
I think
grandma
that's it.
apparently ordered something.
All right. You want to take a little break so you can go get it?
Well, now that we talked about Sumeru and the Dendro element, and we've talked about the characters, and we've kind of touched on the story to avoid anything spoiling.
Yeah, because is there too much else to talk about, really?
Well, we could give our thoughts on like how we think Genshin is going to go forward
I hope it
with
really.
the rumors of other nations that we've heard about before, like Snezhnaya and anything, and Fontaine and anything like that.
Fontaine
I
is.
say we save that. I say we save most of that for the next one, so we have something to talk about.
So then maybe we could give our thoughts on like, do we think Genshin is going in a good direction?
Okay, let's start with you then, Queen. Do you think it is?
I think so, and I think giving a little bit of my opinion on what these other nations that we've already heard about. I think they could be very interesting for the game, depending on what they bring. We have from what we've heard, and what's actually going to be in are going to be, the deciding factor, because we can hear so much, but what they actually put in is going to be totally different.
Yeah. Honestly, true. They could talk about it all a lot, but it could be a big disappointment. I want to keep my hopes high for it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. I do see it going in a great direction. Because if you remember, they also made Honkai Impact, from which I hear is also a very good game.
Yeah.
From what I hear, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The little advertisements I've seen, there are a lot of similarities. Again, that's from the same devs.
Yeah.
But
they even put Fischl in Honkai Impact at one point.
And there is a character that is very similar to Ryan Shogun.
So yeah, it is to be expected.
Yep. So.
Hmm.
And okay, so that's my opinion, not my closing opinion, but just my final thoughts on everything. And now we go to Kevin, since he's on a time crunch.
I honestly really like the way they're going with the story.
Alright.
Okay.
Especially because we're going to be getting Fontaine next, the Nation of Justice, and the Hydro Archon.
And that comes back to what I said, we can hear so much, but what they actually put into it is different.
Yeah. Because they say she's quirky, but they don't say what kind, if it's good or bad. You know what I mean?
And we don't know if that's actually how she's gonna be.
Yeah, that's just what they've told us.
Right,
Yeah.
she could be a totally different person. Like for example, when you look at the Raiden Shogun, you don't really see what we end up finding out. I'm not saying
exactly.
Spoilers, because
Yeah, for people who haven't played, we might go into spoilers at some point.
Just not now.
Right. All right, now we go to Remnant.
Honestly, yeah, I agree it's going in the right direction. I hope it continues being this good, because I honestly like this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for a free-to-play game.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to spend any money on this game, but
to get it.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to spend anything to play, because it gives you plenty of free rewards.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can put money into it, but that's
not
optional.
necessary.
That is
it's
totally
not necessary, and it's totally optional. It's really just up to the player.
You don't even have to just use any of the other characters, because didn't you say, like, Kevin, before, like, the original cast?
The original 5 it gives you can play through with.
Traveler, Kaya, Lisa, Amber,
and Lisa.
and Barbara.
And Barbara. Yeah.
Yep.
You do not have to use any other so far.
Yep.
So yeah.
So if you really just want to stick with the core 5, you can.
Yeah.
But of course, like we've tried to mix in other way. And speaking of that, you can actually put together 4 different teams, and you can use them whenever you wish.
Yeah, you can switch between them at will.
And as you can see, you can play with friends.
Yep.
So,
But yeah, my opinion.
This game has a lot to offer for it being free to play.
Yeah, my opinion. Yeah, I really think it's going in a good direction. I hope it continues, and I hope it doesn't disappoint us in the future.
Yeah.
Now, I would say for the conclusion of this, I say we pick our favorite character that we've met in Sumeru, our favorite boss, and do we prefer the jungle Sumeru or the desert?
Alright, do you want to go first, Kevin?
You can already tell what my favorite character is.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious. Honestly,
Alright,
my
For
favorite...
reasons I will explain next stream, really.
Oh, my favorite Sumer character has to be either between Layla or Sino.
Fanboy.
Yeah, you would be doing the exact same thing, mister, don't you lie.
he kind of is, though.
And Queen, your thoughts?
My favorite character so far is Sumeru. Would probably be a tie between Nilo and Kale.
Alright.
That's fair.
And
Favorite?
I like Kale because, you know, she's just so avid about what she wants to do. But, you know, there's a certain, con that she has to live with for the rest of her life, and as far as Nilo, I just love how she's just so dedicated into making Nikita, you know, feel as welcomed as she should be, and as well as making her feel, you know, the same equivalent as, you know, the person that was the Gender Archon before her. We're not gonna say who, but
Yeah.
Yep.
because that's all Nilo wants to do. She just wants to make Nikita feel, you know, valued.
Yep.
Why do I have to
Alright.
read so many papers?
And for favorite boss, I would say
favorite boss, the entire game, or
it could be that, or it could be just from a specific nation. Or if we want, we could pick one from each nation.
let's just stick with overall.
Okay. Let's go with Kevin first.
I can't decide.
Alright, fair enough. Honestly, I like them all. My favorite has probably has to be the this might be because of the recent bias, but the latest boss we got is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say that my favorite boss would probably have to be... I mean, they all have their pros and cons, but I would say that my favorite is...
Surely I should be doing growth.
I kind of want to say, surprisingly, I would say Ashtaha.
Alright.
My legs are
Just
so
because the
sore.
battle music is so good.
I agree, that's probably one of my favorite battle themes.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay, so that should be it for the Genshin podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll be
We will
doing more of
see
these
you all
in
in
the future.
3.3.
Yep. Around the 3.3 era.
Yep. Until then, everyone, see you in the streams.
See ya, and see you in your dreams.
And see you around.
Alright.